Hi, and welcome to Coach Jude at Rangitoto. A few episodes ago, I talked about the issues that can be caused by denying your choices and how it's often a way of denying your responsibility. I want to revisit this today and share with you how denying responsibility has shaped my past and continues to shape my future. The thing is, we often don't recognise that we're doing this, and we create elaborate scenarios and explanations to justify or interpret our perception of reality. We tell ourselves stories. Now, if you're thinking, what the heck is Coach Jude talking about? Sit back, get comfy, and let me tell you a story. Before I get into the story proper though, I want to clarify a very important point. We can't control events. Not to put too fine a point on it, shit happens and there's nothing we can do about it. But we can control our reaction or our response to the event. You also get to choose how you feel, and this contributes to the outcome you experience. So the event plus your reaction equals the outcome. If you're telling yourself something is frightening and horrible, it is. If you tell yourself everything will be all right and you can cope, you will. The story you tell yourself shapes your experience. So if events aren't going your way at the moment and you want to change course, check out the link below to my free comprehensive guide to kickstarting your weight loss. There's lots of information and ideas to help you, whether you're just starting out or maybe you've stalled. So if you're sitting comfortably, I'll begin. When I weighed about 19 stone, I was really ashamed. The voice in my head went something like, I'm a smart, successful woman. How could I have let myself go so much? To cope, I came up with the following story, which I told myself and anyone who would listen many times. When I was a young woman, my set weight was about 11 stone, which is what I tend to weigh now. My weight fluctuations tended to be plus or minus 7 pounds. Then in 1986, I went to WW for the very first time. I weighed 10 stone 12 pounds. After successfully following the exchange programme as it was then, I got to goal at just under 10 stone. But after that, I just couldn't control my weight at all. It was like I'd flicked a switch and my body went into weight gaining mode. It thought I'd lost too much weight. Now, if at this point you are nodding with understanding, be prepared to be stunned. What really happened was about the same time my life completely changed. I used to work with my husband at the Leeds General Infirmary in the pathology department. In this role, I'd be on my feet most of the time, walked to work, hardly ate out and cooked most of my meals. But then we were both offered the opportunity to join a company in New Zealand, installing computer systems all over the world. It was a really exciting opportunity, and I got to live and work not just in New Zealand, but Canada, Hong Kong, Australia, Kuwait, and parts of Europe. The problem was that I was living in hotels a lot of the time, eating out loads, drinking too much, and hardly getting any exercise. Instead, I spent much of my time sat on my bum staring at a computer screen. This is the logical reason why I gained 8 stone, not to mention the additional stress that the job entailed. So even though logically I know this, the emotional part of my brain doesn't believe it. There is a real fear that if I lose too much weight, I will trigger the switch and I will regain all 8 stone back again. And I feel this every time I go below 10 stone 12. And like anyone else out there who has lost a lot of weight like I have, the fear that I will regain all my weight is terrifying and frankly can reduce me to tears. And the thing is, I'm still telling myself this story. Earlier this year, after I was run over by a cyclist, I had a short spell in hospital. When I came out, I weighed 10 stone 6 pounds, the lowest I've been since 1988. I now weigh 11 stone 10 pounds, and I found myself thinking, I've triggered the switch. Now, what benefits do I get from thinking this? Well, basically, I'm denying any responsibility and I'm blaming an external system over which I have no control. This is, of course, utter nonsense, and to progress, I need to let this go and tell myself a different story. And my use of the word story here is deliberate. The event, me gaining weight, is the reality. The reason I've gained this weight is since the accident, courtesy of cracked ribs, problems with plantar fasciitis and heat waves, I've hardly been out for my runs. This has negatively affected my mental health, and I've suffered from several bouts of mild depression, and as a result of this, I've been eating more. So what can I do to get back to weighing less than 11 stone, the place I want to be? Well, I have to focus on what I can do, not what I can't. To weigh less than 11 stone, I have to eat less than I do now. I need to ensure that when I eat carbs, they are high quality, essentially whole, unrefined plants. And I need to burn more energy. If through injury I can't follow my normal routines, I have to find ones that I can. I could look at swimming, cycling, yoga, or even just walking. The story I need to tell myself is I can maintain any weight I choose. I just need to adjust my eating and levels of activity accordingly. Now, this isn't an exact science, so there may be a bit of trial and error until I get it right. But here's the thing, folks. I know I have the skills and resources to do whatever I set my mind to, and so do you. So what stories are you telling yourself that are stopping you from getting to the place you want to be? Typically, these stories will consist of a fact, often indisputable, and then an interpretation of what that fact means. The trouble is, we take that interpretation as an immutable fact as well, when it's actually just a prediction. Here's a few examples. I'm menopausal, so I can no longer lose any weight. I have insulin resistance. This stops me losing weight. I'll never weigh what I did in my 20s. I have rheumatoid arthritis. This means I can't exercise. I have a paralysed leg, so I can't run. Now, you may find the last one a little bit surprising. I've included it because Wilma Rudolph, hailed as the fastest woman on earth after she won 3 gold medals for sprints and relays in the 1960 Rome Olympics, suffered polio as a child. This resulted in her left leg being mostly paralysed. Doctors held out little hope that she would ever be able to use it again. What do you think she would have achieved if she'd believed them? Instead, she worked hard and consistently to overcome her disability. Pretty inspiring stuff. Now, the benefit of these types of stories is that they shift the blame for our lack of achievement onto an external event, basically something out of our control. Therefore, we absolve ourselves of all responsibility. Otherwise, we have to look ourselves in the eye and accept that we weren't good enough or failed. This is typically not a comfortable place to be. But as I've said before, we all underestimate ourselves and are far more capable than we ever give ourselves credit for. Now, before you start getting mad at me for not being empathetic about the sometimes difficult situations that some of us have to deal with, I do understand. For example, when you're menopausal, your insulin response tends to worsen, which does make it harder to lose weight. However, it is not impossible. The mistake that most of us make, though, is that even though we experience a significant change like this, we cling to what we have always done, whereas what we need to do is to adapt to our new environment. Think of yourself as like a plant. A sickly plant, given the right environment and nutrients, will recover and thrive, whereas a healthy plant put in a toxic environment will wither and die. Basically focus on what you can do instead of what you can't. It really is that simple, but it does take courage to take responsibility for your actions. The question is, are you up for the challenge to get to the place that you really want to be? If you are, I'm here to support you every step of the way. To summarise, identify the stories you're telling yourself. Recognise when you're denying your responsibility and blaming your situation on external factors. Instead, proactively take control of the things you can change and create the life you want to live. Be the driver of your own bus. Don't take a back seat and be a passenger. And remember, if you need more ideas because you're just starting out on your own weight loss journey, or perhaps you've stalled, check out the link below to my free comprehensive guide to kickstarting your weight loss. And on that thought, I'll leave you. As always, I thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like this episode if you found it useful, subscribe if you want to learn more, and do share your progress, triumphs and your insights with me. All the best. Until next time. Bye.